So recently, the United Nations declared 2023 as the International Year of Millets after a recommendation from the Indian government in the year 2019. To celebrate this achievement and promote awareness of millets, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with a few dignitaries and fellow parliamentarians, indulged in a lavish feast prepared using millets. After Prime Minister Narendra Modi's call for millets, an Indian restaurant in New York has added millets-based dishes to their menu. And Prime Minister Modi said that the global branding of millets will help India's 2.4 crore small and marginal farmers who are dependent on these crops. He said that this is the first time after independence that the government has taken cognizance of the issues of small farmers at this type of a level. The Global Millets Conference was a significant step in the promotion of millets globally. The conference helped to raise awareness of the benefits of millets and to build momentum for the growth of millets industry. With the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, India is said to be well positioned to become the global hub for millets. Before we delve into this extensive discussion, we are going to be in fact showing you some important imagery. Prime Minister Modi also collaborated with the Grammy winner Faluni Shah for a special song titled Abundance in Millets. This song by Falu and Gaurav Shah aimed to raise awareness about the super grain in the UN designated Year of Millets. Listen it.
और हम सब के साझा प्रयासों से श्री अन्न भारत की और विश्व की समृद्धि में नई चमक जोड़ेगा। आज विश्व जब इंटरनेशनल मिलेट ईयर मना रहा है तो भारत इस अभियान की अगुवाई कर रहा है।
Let us also hear Prime Minister Modi's strong pitch in promoting millets globally and how it has impacted small-scale farmers.
ग्लोबल मिलेट्स कॉन्फ्रेंस इसी दिशा का एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है। इसमें मिलेट्स की खेती, उससे जुड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था, हेल्थ पर उसके प्रभाव, किसानों की आय, ऐसे अनेक विषयों पर सभी विद्वान और अनुभवी लोग विचार विमर्श करने वाले। राजस्थान तो मिलेट्स यानी मोटे अनाजों की एक बेहद समृद्ध परंपरा का घर है और अब देशव्यापी उसकी पहचान बने, इसलिए ये मोटे अनाज को श्री अन्न इस नाम से लोग जाने, ये बहुत आवश्यक है। भारत का मिलेट मिशन श्री अन्न के लिए शुरू हुआ ये अभियान देश के 2.5 करोड़ किसानों के लिए वरदान साबित होने जा रहा है।
All right, to talk more about these important matters right before or right during the Prime Minister's visit, we are joined by a few people who understand this space. Dr. Ishwar Gilada is here with us. He's a regular on our show. Ridhima Arora, CEO of Namhya Foods, also joins us on the program. Mr. Utpal Kaul, historian, with us on the program as well. And last but by no means the least, Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian, with us on the program in the studio as well. Dr. Gilada, I'll begin with you, sir. So millets as a doctor, are to be promoted not only because they're going to aid and help 2.5 crore farmers, but the fact of the matter is that this is an unexplored, not much talked about nutrient, if I can call it, which definitely has the potential, to change one's life.
Thank you very much, Vineet, for having me on the show. And you stole my theme. I was also thinking the same thing, that if we say that to help the farmer you eat this, it is not going to be a good marketing strategy. What is important is to tell people that which is a healthy food. And Jwari, Bajri, Nachni, Rajgira, these are, we always tell our people who are coming with diabetes and not able to control diabetes, people having a lot of junk food, people having obesity, we tell them that rather than gehu, eat Jwari, Bajri, Nachni and Rajgira. So, and it is not newly explored. It's a 7,000-year-old treatise. All over the world it has been used. It is drought resistant. It can be produced within half the time of other kind of food grain, and it is such a nice thing to have it. It reduces your heart related ailments. It adds magnesium. It adds a lot of other micronutrients. So from all angles, is a very good food. So there was an era where there is a lot of junk food. Now we have to tell people that everywhere there should be millet, millet, and millet, and that junk food will be replaced by millet, and that is the best gift to the entire world. So if we are looking at the world nutrition, we are looking at the drought situation, we are looking at the kind of ecological balance. For all those things, it is most human friendly, and whether it is eaten by animal or birds or by human being, it is a good nutrition. It's gluten free.
It's gluten free, and gluten, of course, resulting in a number of problems, also is responsible for causing cancer to a number of people. Joyita Basu, your thoughts on millets? I believe that we have spoken about it in the past as well. It's not a new discovery, but it is a discovery that needs to be made outside of India as well.
Yes, I mean millets is now being called superfood, and I think one of the main reasons, apart from the health benefits that millet brings to people, I think one of the main reasons is that the kind of water does not require the kind of groundwater that maybe rice in particular requires. So I think it is a low water crop. As a result of which, what happens is that at a time, think of it like this, at a time when the world has apparently shifted about 33 inches from its axis because of the groundwater depletion that has taken place. So what we have to look at is at food grain options that offer us equal or perhaps much more nutrients, but at the same time does not destroy the environment. So that way millet is very good, and I can say with confidence that at least in urban India it's catching up. In the urban crowd, earlier it was not available. You had to order on online, you had to depend on e-retailers and all e-sellers to buy this particular millet. But nowadays you go to the malls and everywhere millets are available, and even now whenever you are ordering from places like those 10-minute delivery apps, all of them have started keeping millet, and this is primarily because more and more people are shifting to millet. We do not know whether people will be totally shifting away from wheat or rice, but a sufficient section is definitely shifting. What happens is that in certain areas of the country there is no knowledge about millets. Okay, I know for certain because I originally come from the eastern part of India. People do not know anything about millet over there. Now this is a grain that is primarily associated with northern India, western India and Rajasthan and all, wherever you do not require that much water. But nowadays, on WhatsApp groups and discussions, gradually the knowledge is spreading, and everybody wants to go for a food that will have low GI index, that glycemic index that is called, which I think people with diabetes they try to avoid. So because of all that, and it's fibrous, it's nutritious, and it tastes pretty okay. I mean, many of us, we didn't know millets about even a year back perhaps, but nowadays many of us are consuming it, and it's very good and healthy, I would say.
All right. Mr. Kaul, your thoughts on millets, and why do you think that even we as Indians have not really gone about exploring the benefits that this particular grain has to offer? Let us not forget that in this age of technology, any food that is supposed to be a superfood, which millets are, can be promoted very easily, but yet the pace at which the popularity of millets has gone about has been a little slow.
Thank you very much, Vineet, for having me here. Let me tell you, as the Dr. Giladi has said, that it is nutritious, this millet food, what we call as mota anaj. And we were also listening to Jyotinda here, and she said that I come from eastern side and it is not known there. and I come from Kashmir, and we didn't know much about mota anaj because we know only the rice. And she also knows about the rice. We are rice eaters. But I travel a lot for last 35 years. I travel Central India, I travel in Rajasthan. And so I started loving this bajra and jawar ki roti. And it is so heavy, you can have only one bread. And it is so nutritious and it is very, very healthy. And now it is a kind of a fashion with the youngsters to have this ragi roti and to have this bajra and mota anaj, and we have this big alternative for the junk food. And so all those food chains from restaurants, from big hotels, and also online food, they must promote this food. Basically, this mota anaj is in central India. Rajasthan, some parts of UP, some parts of Madhya Pradesh, some parts of Gujarat and Maharashtra. It is not so much in south of India or eastern India or in extreme north. But it is well known in Africa, where we don't have water. There is a water scarcity. Where there is water, there is rice and there is wheat and there is other things. But in desert areas, in Middle East or not, in these Arabian countries, this is very much famous, or people are using it. So this is a great idea what Modi ji did, and he is a great man in marketing certain great ideas. It is basically the great idea which he marketed, and it has a as one side, it will help nearly 25 million farmers, but most important is that it will help whole of mankind, especially Indians who are suffering from diabetes and other ailments. This food, if we start as part of our regular food, that I think we can reduce so many ailments, so many diseases. So marketing it even in US, and now some restaurants have started. One is from Modi Thali in New Jersey, where Indian food in different parts of India, because we don't have Indian food means not only tandoori roti and curry or some tandoori chicken. Indian food means 7,000 varieties from Assam to Kerala, from Kashmir to Ladakh, from central India. So we have many varieties to offer, not only to our own citizens in India, but in Western world and in America. We have thousands of Indian restaurants, and so they have lot of varieties, is one. And second is this millet thing in US. One restaurant has in New York started this menu. I think more and more restaurants will take, not only in India, but US. So it will be very beneficial for the whole mankind. Thank you.
All right. Ridhima Arora, food is, a platform. It's basically, a cultural, nuance that India needs to push. And we've spoken about this on our channel multiple times, how food, Indian food, in more ways than one has been, sort of been passed over by Italian or Chinese food when it comes to world cuisines. Do you think that through this outreach and, through promoting a particular nutrient that, we should regularly consume, Indian food can also find a lot of support and a lot of propelling that has lacked in the past?
Right. So thank you so much for inviting me, first of all. So I'll probably start with taking a stance from a D2C brand that we are, and from an Ayurvedic lens. So millets are definitely not alien to us. We started using millets almost 7,000 years back in Ayurveda, right? So even if you today read Ayurvedic scriptures, you'll see mentions about ragi being used a lot in winters, then your jawar being used a lot in the summers, then kuttu ka atta or nachni or amarnath's atta being used in the fasting period. a lot. In fact, today, if you go around Gujarat and areas around where there's a lot of practice of fasting, you'll see that the jawar, the bajra, the kuttu ki roti, all of these millets have already been used, during fast. And there's, of course, very definite logic to it. Dr. Ishwar was just mentioning that, all of these millets have great amount of fiber. In fact, if you compare rice and millets have almost 9% more fiber, 9% fiber in it, right? And when you look at rice or wheat, it has 1.5% of fiber, right? When you look at other elements to it, which is calcium, phosphorus, iron, folic acid, which is so essential in women, all of these ingredients are actually very high when it comes to millets. But having said that, having talked about the diabetes or the triglycerides or the cholesterol levels that significantly go down with millets, I must emphasize that it's not something which is ancient, which is alien to us. It is something that we've practiced over a period of time. We've known these ingredients, just that we got lost in the industrialization and commercialization of 90s, and then, the relevance of all these indigenous grains to us kind of got lost. Having said that, as a brand, we do, cereals which are based in millets. And I must emphasize that a lot of these cereals actually get sold a lot more on Amazon.com, which is the global marketplace for us, right? And it's actually very strange for us that these grains have actually received a lot of reception even on the global marketplaces. But I think for India to even look at it from an export lens, where India is an exporter of millet, almost 20% global consumption happens from India. If you look at only Asia, almost 80% of the consumption of millets actually happens from India. And from that lens as well, if we need to really supersede on the exports, which is what I think as a nation, as a government, we are trying to do, this is the best thing that we can possibly do. Even if you look at the agricultural practices, so to say, I think in the panel itself, somebody mentioned that the amount of water that is needed for irrigation is almost 1/3, 1/4 of what it takes for wheat and rice. And even if you look at the drought conditions, even if you look at the amount of efforts, even if you look at the pesticide, insecticide usage in millets, it's not actually there, right? And so for all those reasons, I think we can equip at least 5 to 6 crores of, very small and medium level farmers to kind of grow and make a living out of it. So I think from an export perspective, from a nutrition perspective, from creating livelihood in India, which is almost 75% farmers, right? I think from all these three lenses, if I were to look at it, it's a great opportunity to kind of leverage. And while of course, millets in itself also have a few negative sides to it. I mean, if you have hypothyroidism or if you have IBS, those are the only two conditions when you should avoid millets. But other than that, I think if you're eating as per Ayurveda, which is you're eating as per the season, this is, one of the best things that you could actually have. And I will agree that Modi ji's government has been great at marketing, and if we can pitch it right, there are so many brands that I know who are singularly doing only millets as a product. And
Absolutely.
of course, there's a very heavy reason around it.
And Joyita, of course, the Prime Minister also invoked the fact that farmers are going to greatly benefit as a result of this consumption if it happens to be in the direction he anticipates it.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is, you see, when we are looking at, because you see, farmers are always at, they do not have that kind of profit. And a lot of, I think, money is gone into irrigating their crop and all. So as a result of which, because it kind of it does not need that kind of water, that itself is a money saver for them. And once this millet picks up throughout the country, it's already quite popular, I am told, even in the south. and a lot of these grains come from Tamil Nadu as well. So once it spreads across the country, once it spreads among people in the urban areas in particular, you know, it does not, I don't want to use the word a health fad. The more the message spreads about how healthy this grain is, it's but obvious that this will also go on to, there will be a ripple effect, and it will, the benefits will go down to the farmers. But having said that, here I want to say one thing. You know, I do not know how popular millet will be internationally, especially in a country like the US. Now, what is millet used for? It is, it's known as, actually it is meant as horse food. So, you know, for that mindset to change, that, you know, humans can also consume what is actually popularly known as horse food in the West, I think that mindset change is a long time coming. But yes, millet in India is definitely picking up.
All right, millets in India are definitely picking up, and hopefully that is a trend which is going to be emulated across the world as well.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.